Hello and welcome into another show of Naperville Sports Weekly. I'm your host, Joe Kennedy. DVC boys and girls golf held its conference tournaments this week, and more sports continue to ramp up as we close out the month of September. We'll start off on the football field, as last week we saw our teams begin conference play. Let's head down to the field to see how Week 5 of Friday Night Lights unfolded.
It's that time of the year for the Eola Bowl. Waubonsie Valley football looks to reclaim the trophy from Metea Valley. The Warriors come into the game after dropping their last two matchups, while the Mustangs are still looking for a win. Not much action in the first, so we skip to the second. Luke Elsey faces a 3rd and 10 as he drops back, firing downfield, finding Brady Teeple for the 20-yard gain. A couple of snaps later, Elsey connects with Julian Johnson, who makes his way to the sideline before being pushed out at the 15. The Warriors continue the drive. Luke Elsey hands off to Christian Simmons, who walks in the opening touchdown. Dub V misses the PAT, so they lead 6-0 with 8:16 left in the half. Next possession for Metea. Lucas Van Vlera throws downfield, but his pass is picked off by Owen Roberts, giving the Warriors the ball right back. Waubonsie makes their way downfield as they face a 4th down on the 15. Luke Elsey finds Julian Johnson in space, who breaks a tackle, but he's stopped just shy of the 1st down by Lucas Van Vlera. The Mustangs trail 6-0 going into halftime. Luke Elsey starts the second half with the ball. He looks for Brady Teeple, but his pass is intercepted by Christian Lee, who returns the ball to the 30. Metea trying to generate some offense, but things just aren't clicking as Van Vlera's pass is picked off by Josh Tinney, giving the Warriors the ball right back. Waubonsie marches right down the field thanks to the running game of Christian Simmons, who breaks multiple tackles before getting taken down at the 5-yard line. Once again, it's Simmons who makes his way through the crowd for the short touchdown run. Dub V goes for the 2-point conversion as Luke Elsey connects with Julian Johnson in the end zone. Waubonsie goes up 14-0 with 4:47 left in the third. The green and gold get the ball right back. Luke Elsey throws over the top, picking out Julian Johnson, who makes his way to the 10-yard line for a big pickup for the home team. Same drive, but in the 4th quarter. Elsey finds Sincere Martin for another Warrior touchdown. Dub V cruising, now up 21-0. Waubonsie isn't slowing down. Elsey hands off to Christian Simmons, who finds the gap before being dragged down in the end zone. The Warriors come out and dominate Metea Valley, winning the Eola Bowl by a final score of 28-0.
The Naperville North Huskies have made it to DeKalb and are ready for a heavy-hitting matchup against the Barbs. North is coming off a 17-7 loss to Neuqua Valley, while DeKalb took care of business against Metea Valley, winning 48-23. On the opening drive of the game, Husky quarterback Carson Marler finds Luke Williams on the screen pass. He follows his blockers and makes a move, forcing 2 defenders to collide before running in to the end zone. North strikes first just under 3 minutes into the game. DeKalb is now with the ball as QB Cole Latimer evades the pressure and throws one on the run. 4 Husky defenders are in the area, and William Korasak comes up with the interception. North ball now with 4 minutes left in the first quarter. North offense is back out on the field, and Cole Arl follows his pulling lineman and into the second level. Arl jukes one defender and turns on the Jets to the corner of the end zone for the score. Huskies lead 14-0 with 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Following the North touchdown, on 2nd and 10, Latimer chucks one downfield to Davon Grant, who works back to the ball for the catch. Grant avoids not just one, but multiple defenders as he tries to get in for the score, but he gets dragged down at the 1-yard line. 2 plays later, Talon Tate takes the handoff and bursts to the outside as he gets DeKalb's first score of the game. North still leads 21-7 with just over 2 minutes left in the first. On the ensuing kickoff, Husky Zach Malley catches it from the 15-yard line and follows a herd of blockers. He gets untouched and jukes out the kicker, scoring on an 85-yard kickoff return. That makes it 3 touchdowns over the span of 2 minutes between both teams. Barbs with the ball now in the second quarter. Latimer rolls out to his right and tries to put one in a tight window as Williams comes up with the interception for the Huskies. After they punted, Husky defensive lineman Lawson Greer makes a huge sack on 4th down. North takes a 21-7 lead into halftime. Out of the break, Marler takes a snap and tries to find an open receiver. He can't find anyone, and as he's brought down, he attempts to throw to someone, but the ball falls into the hands of a Barb defender. Pierre Cathena gets the INT and sparks some life for DeKalb. The Barbs offense capitalizes off the Husky turnover as Tate receives the handoff and shows off the explosiveness. DeKalb would miss the extra point and trail 21-13. Just a couple of plays after Williams converted on a fake punt, Marler finds him wide open for the score. It's the Purdue commit's second touchdown of the night to go along with an interception. Moments later, Latimer surveys the field and throws a great ball to Grant, who catches it between 2 Husky defenders. From there on, it's a foot race, and Grant crosses the goal line for the score. 28-20 Huskies. Lonzo Duckworth takes the handoff and follows his lead blockers before bursting by the Barb secondary here, and North now leads 35-20 as we head into the fourth quarter. And in the fourth quarter, the Huskies are back on offense. Arl gets the ball and he might not even be touched here, scoring another North touchdown and sealing up the victory. The Huskies win 42-20 against DeKalb and will face crosstown rivals Naperville Central next week. After the break, we'll first dive into some girls swimming action. Then we'll check out how the Neuqua Valley cross country program looks with 2 new head coaches.
Look, Mom, I found one.
Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the 2 largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
When a bank helps you get and stay ahead, that's the BMO effect.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
The crosstown rivals are back at it again as the Naperville Central Redhawks host the Naperville North Huskies in a DVC swimming matchup. Both teams are looking to build some confidence and momentum as we're about halfway through the season. The match kicks off with a 200-yard medley relay as 2 teams from both schools compete for victory. It would go to the Redhawks as the Lane 5 team of Michaela Belisario, Lauren Eschmeyer, Macy Foltz, and Yin-Nung Shu finished with a time of 1 minute and 54.74 seconds. Now over to the 200-yard IM, where the swimmers get off to a great start. Coming to the finish, Malika Putakam would hold off the challenge of Belisario and Natalie Vogel to take the victory with a time of 2 minutes and 18.54 seconds. The Huskies would add on in the 50-yard freestyle in what would be a close finish between all of the competitors. Here we see Lauren Malco push herself out front to take another race win for the Huskies. We'll now head to the 100-yard butterfly as the Redhawks look to get back into the win column. Eschmeyer in the end gets her first individual win of the night with a time of 1 minute and 2.57 seconds. The Huskies wouldn't make things much easier for the Redhawks in the 100-yard freestyle event, as Tasha Mantle leads a 1-2 finish for the Huskies to extend their lead in the match. The Redhawks would continue to hang around. In the 100-yard IM, it was Lily Gia and Ellen Hoover giving Central a 1-2 victory, with Gia finishing with a time of 1 minute and 5.79 seconds. In the 200-yard freestyle relay, it ends up coming down to lane 4 of the Huskies and lane 5 of the Redhawks. Coming to the end, it was the Husky team of Abby Pobosny, Mantle, Melko, and Chloe Chen securing the win. Central would fight back in the 100-yard backstroke race as Belisario and Shu go down to the wire, but in the end it was Shu who prevails with the individual win. North would try to lock things up in the 100-yard breaststroke event as Mantle would give herself and the Huskies another individual win with a time of 1 minute and 8.06 seconds. Despite the Mantle win, North would only be up by 2 going into the last race of the night, the 400-yard freestyle relay. It starts off at first a close race, but the lone Naperville North team would get the job done over the two Redhawk teams to give the Huskies a 105-97 win over Naperville Central. Paul Vandersteen has been the Neuqua Valley boys cross country coach since the school first opened. This year, though, the Wildcats have new coaches for both the boys and girls teams. Patrick Cotto has more in our latest feature story, sponsored by Edward Elmhurst Health.
As we hit the halfway point of the cross-country season, the Neuqua Valley boys and girls are one of many teams in Illinois looking to hit their strides once the calendar flips to October. The boys team is coming off a 5th-place finish in the Richard Spring Invitational in Peoria, while the girls took 15th out of 61 teams in the race. The two blue and gold squads are also running their way to success in a season of transition, with the familiar face taking over for one team and a new one leading the way for the other. Longtime boys assistant coach Jamie Janota takes the reins from retired Hall of Fame head coach Paul Vandersteen, while Matt Johnson is now the head of the varsity girls, taking over for Bruin Young after coaching the boys and girls cross-country teams at Plainfield East.
I think we have a great crew of guys on the team who thankfully I've worked with, having been being part of the program for the past 20 years. I obviously have coached a lot of these guys who are seniors now since they were freshmen and sophomores. I'm excited to work with just very positive guys who are willing to work hard and who just want to push themselves to the limit.
It's one of those unique opportunities. Last year I coached out of district. I coached at Plainfield East for the past 4 years, and I wanted to coach, back in 204 where I teach. And this is just one of those opportunities that you get really lucky about, and you're very fortunate to have. And I feel very blessed to be here as the head coach.
Janota is only the second boys cross-country head coach for the Wildcats after Vandersteen took charge when the school opened its doors in 1997. During Vandersteen's tenure, the Cats took home not 1, not 2, but 3 state championships and 8 state trophies overall. That is a large set of cleats to fill for Janota, but after helping Vandersteen and the Wildcats to several of those state trophies, he knows it's a marathon and not a sprint to the promised land.
Moderation and consistency, that was a big thing for him. There's no need to constantly push yourself to limit. It's a matter of working hard over the course of a long period of time. Patience was definitely one thing that he bestowed upon me. I can get emotional and a little hot on the collar at times, but more often than not, as problems or issues or whatever comes at me, I tend to think things through and have a more measured approach as things go.
While Johnson may be new to the Neuqua program, he is good friends with Young, and he learned a lot about the team from the former sheriff. With the foundation laid down by the former leaders of the program, Johnson knows the future for the blue and gold is in good shape with 2 new head coaches now in charge.
The wheels were already on the bus in both programs, and it was just little tweaks here and there. Maybe a little change in philosophy or a run here and there, or maybe a different workout. But Bruin really set us up for success, and Paul, of course, set Jamie up for success. You're handing over 2 phenomenal programs, and really, I think our job was just not screw it up.
Each coach will have their own learning experiences, whether it's getting their feet set with the new system or making an already successful program of their own. Both teams will be surrounded with state-caliber runners who are ready to line up at the starting line and face the challenges when the season hits the home stretch.
There's a lot of things that you learn along the way, and I think you can't take what you did one season and apply it to the next. And I've been very grateful. I've had success in everywhere I've kind of gone. It's been and part of that is you just have good athletes that want to get better.
They're just good-natured guys who are there to help one another improve. And when you think about it, when you think about cross country as a team sport, when you think about cross country as, yes, I'm out there by myself, but every person I catch is helping a team, I think that's the kind of team mentality that I love for them to buy into, and they have.
With the conference and postseason just a month away, it will be exciting to see how fast these new-look Wildcats can run. For Naperville Sports Weekly, I'm Patrick Cotto.
Coming up next, we'll head to the links to see who picks up the first conference titles on the season in boys and girls golf. Then we'll head to the pitch for an update on boys soccer.
Oh yeah, I'll take one of your specials, my man.
There you go, princess.
We were there when you explored questionable street meat.
Maybe read the reviews next time?
We were there for that. And we're here for everything else. Here it's personal, because we get to know you.
In these complicated times, local news has never been more important. DailyHerald.com lets you stay connected to your community, wherever you are.
The DVC Boys Golf Championship has arrived on a cloudy Thursday morning at Blackberry Oaks. Naperville Central comes in as defending champs and holds an undefeated conference record. The Hawks and the 5 other conference opponents hope to swing for their lowest scores before regionals. Starting on hole 5, Naperville North's James Driscoll is putting for par and walks away as the Huskies' top golfer on the day with an 80. Patrick Davis from Metea Valley has himself a solid round, as this par sustains a score of 75, which is the 4th best overall individually on the day. DeKalb's Aiden Lang is the leading golfer for the Barbs, as his shot comes so close to the pin. He hits the par and scores an 83. Joe Cerny is camping out on the grass on hole 7, but this chip puts his ball in good position near the pin. Cerny golfs a 75. His teammate Matt Sims gets a solid approach shot that lands on the green and takes a strong bounce. Sims pars it in from there. Up next is Parth Vora, who also hits from the fairway, and just like Sims, his ball also takes a bounce and a helpful roll with a slight curve. Vora matches Sims' result. Here comes Salil Kanduja from the fairway as his shot lands right on the money. Kanduja completes the hole with the par. Runnock Ryan Kong pays his contributions on the 13th hole. This shot from the grass finds a spot on the green, and he golfs a round of 80. Wildcat Emerson Zhang also has success with his approach on the hole. The ball lands in a good spot for him to par it in, and he scores a 77. Ryan Watson brings in some insurance for the Cats with more approach shots. Everyone is spot on with their attempts, and Watson walks away with a 76. Enough of the shots, let's do some putting. Waubonsee's Adam Torian lines up for his birdie, and he goes 1 under on the hole, which helps him to the Warriors' second best score at 80. Rain is coming down, but that doesn't bother Matt Sims, who putts for par, and he putts himself a 73, the Hawks' lowest score. Rain, rain, go away, come again another day. What won't go away is Parth Vora's strong performance, as he pards and leads Nikwa with an intense round of 73. To the 15th hole, and we show you Mustang Charlie Flaherty, who chips and his ball takes a roll close to the pin. Flaherty pars it and golfs at 80, the 3rd lowest score for the black and gold. We finish our round on hole 18, and no surprise, Salil Kanduja hits his par and finishes at the top individual score with a 72. What can the senior not do? Team-wise, Neuqua Valley golfed the lowest score, but it's Naperville Central securing the DVC season championship thanks to a second-place finish and undefeated conference slate. Regionals are up next.
Phillips Park is the annual host for the DVC Girls Golf Championship Tournament. Waubonsie Valley serves as the host school for a perfect day on the links. Starting on the back nine, and we see one of the best shots of the day via Metea Valley golfer Ansley Ellis. Chipping from off the green on hole 11, she sees her ball roll and hit the pin just inches away from an eagle. Instead, it's a tap-in birdie as Ellis finishes in the top 10 with an 84. Naperville Central with a much improved team this season. Last year the Redhawks shot a .426 as a team. They dropped that to a .374 this year, led by Mae Binkowski and Cade Schiltz with 87s, and Ashika Patel with a 97. Carly Rogers doing work on the 11th hole with a nice birdie from beyond 10 feet. Rogers with a strong round of 84 to make the top 4 scores for Neuqua Valley. Waubonsie Valley is in the hunt for the conference title as Mina Shyam does her part with a nice short game around the green. An 84 puts the Warrior in the top 10 individuals. Metea Valley is led by McKenna Wigfield on the day, who sets herself up well on the 11th hole with a well-placed chip onto the dance floor. She leads the Mustangs with a round of 76, good for 3rd place overall. Over to the 13th hole where Addison Wu from Naperville North finds herself well off the green, but she rebounds nicely with a tough chip that lands near the pin. The Husky ends her day with a 94. Waubonsie Valley is without top golfer Kelly Kong, so Meadow Rowlands moves up to the number 1 spot for the green and gold. Here she makes a nice putt for par as the senior scores an 85 for her round. Addie Saganek from North chips from the fairway and sticks her approach within 10 feet of the pin. Saganek delivers with a birdie and leads the team with a round of 79, finishing in the top 5 individual scores. We saw McKenna Wigfield with a strong performance, and big sister Madison is right there with her as she makes a par on 13 and finishes in the top 5 as well with a 79. The Mustangs with the 2nd best team score in the tournament. Neuqua Valley uses the 13th hole to put on a putting clinic for the rest of the field. Rebecca Wu sitting over 30 feet from the cup, but the senior buries it for birdie. Wu with a 79 as well. Evan Ashley from about 15 feet for the blue and gold as she buries from long range as well. Ashley with an 85 on the day. Sophie Lagman is up next for the Wildcats after a nice approach shot. She sinks this 20-footer for a birdie of her own. That puts the senior in a tie for 1st place as she advances to a playoff to determine the individual champion. Over to the 17th green, Hannah Lee from Waubonsie Valley makes a tricky par shot and gets into the top 10 with an 82 to lead the Warriors. Waubonsie Valley finishes in 3rd as a team on the day and in 2nd place in the DVC season standings. Maddie Coffey from Neuqua Valley is near the top of the leaderboard as well as the Wildcats have a team championship well in hand. Coffey finds the green and goes on to par the 17th hole. That allows the senior to finish with a 74 and advance to the playoff with her teammate Sophie Lagman. The first playoff hole is number 16, Lagman with a brilliant chip to set up a birdie attempt within a club length of the hole. However, after Coffey makes par, Lagman lips out the putt, and we head to a 2nd playoff hole. This time it's Lagman who starts off with a par on 17 while Coffey finds the green. She has a birdie attempt for the win. The senior sinks the 10-footer to win the DVC Girls Golf Individual Medal. Neuqua Valley wins both the regular season and tournament team titles as Coach Keller celebrates with his team.
Neuqua Valley travels to 204 rival Metea Valley in a mid-season DVC matchup. On senior night, the Mustangs look to improve to 3-0 in conference play as the Wildcats look for their first conference win. Neuqua looks to get started on the attack, but Luke Wazowitz's shot is saved by Metea keeper Robbie Shaw, his first stop of the night. Metea gets their turn on the attack, and Michael Sanise feeds Jack Dowell, whose shot is saved by Nick Verone. The aggressive start from the Mustangs leads to a corner kick that Dylan Ferreira connects right onto the head of Sanise, who puts Mattia up 1-0. The Mustangs pick up the first goal in the match 20 minutes into the game. A few minutes later, Mattia finds themselves in the attacking zone, and once again, Sanise connects with Ferreira, who sweeps one across the keeper to pad the Mustangs' lead at 2-0. Mattia would take that lead into halftime. Midway through the second half, Ferreira has a free kick in a dangerous area and converts it for his second goal of the match. His shot puts Mattia up 3-0. Nico looks to get back in the match as Andrew Tidro's shot is saved by Shaw, and the follow-up is put wide of the net. Mattia still leads 3-0 with 10 minutes left in the game. A few minutes remaining now, Dominic Landato has a free kick and finds the bottom left corner of the net to make it 3-1. It was too late though, and a Mattia goal moments later ended the match at 4-1. Mattia next faces Marmion on Saturday, and Niqua takes on York on Thursday. For our Girls Play of the Week, let's head to the DVC Championship at Phillips Park, where Mustang Ainsley Ellis hits her wedge from off the green on hole 11. The ball rolls towards the cup and rattles off the flagstick just inches away from an eagle. Instead, it's a tap-in birdie as Ellis finishes in the top 10 at conference with a round score of 84. We'll take another look at the shot and just how close it was to dropping in. Ellis and the Mustangs will compete at regionals on Thursday, September 28th. We'll wrap up today's show after the break with this week's Boys Play of the Week. Do you want all the most exciting highlights from your student athlete's high school career? Relive all your favorite stories and moments from the past few seasons of Naperville Sports Weekly by purchasing digital downloads. Visit nctv17.org/shop to order today.
Look, Mom, I found one.
Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the two largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
When a bank helps you get and stay ahead, that's the BMO effect.
For this week's Boys Play of the Week, we head to DeKalb, where Naperville North football took on the Barbs. Luke Williams is one of the best players in the state, and the Purdue commit came up big against DeKalb. On the opening possession of the game, Carson Marler dumps one off to Williams, who cuts up field and makes two defenders look silly as they run right into each other. Williams evades two ankle tackles en route to the 37-yard touchdown. Let's take one more look at the grab, but more importantly, the yards after the catch. Some great moves by Williams as he went on to score another touchdown and recorded an interception, helping North win 42-20. That will wrap things up, and thanks again for tuning in to today's episode of Naperville Sports Weekly. You can find all our highlights from the season as well as feature stories and community sports on nctv17.org and our NCTV 17 Sports YouTube channel. You can also find us on social media at NCTV17 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Naperville Sports Weekly, I'm Joe Kennedy, and I'll see you again next week.